Alright, hello everyone. So this is Monday, 21st of August. Now I've already put the Astro hours and the swing days, the expected swing days for this week on the website, so in the members area. So let's take a look at gold. It's a new week, so let's start with a new week. As you can see, we had a nice breakdown, so this is likely to come further down. Okay, so we're expecting the market to come down, but as you know, the market's always waving around. So we're breaking the swings. So on a pull up, we want to be selling off again, and a decent place to be doing that is probably going to be, let's see, let me just make this a little bigger here. Let's get to the end of things, and that's the bar there. Okay, and you see that's there. It's a little small, so you won't be able to see it, but if it goes up for a retest, we want to be selling off on the PST, right? So that's going to be 45, and that's a price of, as you can see, 1911. All right, 1911 is there. Okay, so I want to go in and mark 1911 for a start. Okay, now today I'm also expecting sudden moves in the market, especially in the New York session. So let's come up a little bit more down, or let me just do this 911. Okay, 1911. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so that's there. Okay, which is not a bad target actually. Okay, so if it gets up there, okay, this is a zone. As you can see, our zones are marked in from a bigger time frame, and if I push it all the way back down into the past, you'll see here, if we squeeze it up a little bit, okay, this is where they sold off here. Okay, so the market going back up, taking out the stops because there's liquidity here, and then selling off. It's not a bad idea. So that's one zone there. Okay, and that's on the weekly. And let's take a look also to the bigger picture. Now if it breaks above 1911, you see you got 1934 to 45 there, and 55 here is 1960. All right, so that's already 3 levels. Okay, and then we've got a lower target on the weekly, which is your HCL1 line. That's 1848. Remember, 1848 was on the cards from last week as well, so that's still on the cards. And if I shrink this up a little bit, 1848 all the way down there. Okay, so I've just marked in 1850, but that's on the cards too. On the daily, we've come down a lot. As you can see, we've broken these swings. So if we go back up, we should head up into that direction, and that direction, okay, is there, and that's about 1913. 1911 is looking good. All right, so this blue zone here and this blue zone there, and you can see on the weekly that target is going to be 32, is it? Yeah, looks like it. Okay, 32, and that's a price of 1896. Okay, so 1896 is also going to be a resistance there for the market, so you've got to keep your eye open, and that's your weekly pivot there. Okay, so I'm just going to move this slightly lower into that 1896, so you guys know that's also PST level, and that's on the daily. All right, if it breaks above that, we'll go to the weekly and sell off from there. Now if you want to buy, let's see where you can on the daily. Now this first support is 23. Also check out your swing days, guys. Okay, 1885. So this 1885 is not a bad spot. If I go up here a little bit, that's your 1885. Now if I open this up a little bit, then you'll see, okay, that's your 1885 there. This is today. So the market's already done the 1885, and there's a buy reaction here, but it hasn't broken out anything yet. Okay, so we could break down and go up, or we could go up from this zone here. Okay, this is where the market stabilized all Friday, and it couldn't break through the low of Thursday, which is the 1885. So here you've got to be a bit careful, because the market's pushing down, and remember, we've got room to come down. We want to come into this 1850 zone here. So the market's got room to come in, okay? But what we want to do is sell when there's an up move and not dive in. If it keeps going down, then the up move will be nice, okay? So what you can do is keep your lot sizes small, buy on the supports at Astro hours to push up, but you must cover your trade on the weekly pivot for sure, okay? Don't be lazy with it. Keep an eye out for it, okay? And then if it goes higher, then 1911 is obviously a good spot. That's going to be on the weekly. All right, so that's that, okay? If it breaks above the 1911, then you know we're going up into that 30s zone, which is also okay, and so on. All right. On the monthly, we're still in August, so the trend is down and we want to head down, okay? But because we're day trading or short time trading, you don't want to be selling on a support level here, especially at an Astro hour. You don't want to be selling around here. So going up is not a bad idea. Also, like I said, today I'm expecting sharp, sudden moves, breakouts, especially in the New York session, going into the New York session. So be mindful, okay? Let's take a look at US 500, and remember to always match your technical analysis with the hour. Don't just trade off any hour. Make sure you get your pricing right. Now it's a new week on the SP 500. Remember last week we did the price targets, the PST targets were all done, the price targets were all done, and it's all good. So looking for a bit of a bounce up is not a bad idea at all. Okay, so let me just open this up a little bit. Now on the daily, as you can see, the market's done a low here where the market picked up. Now this is not a bad place to go long. Okay, this is the first place, as you can see, is the swing level, but this is where everybody's stop losses are. So they cleaned them out nice and easy. A retest down to go back up is not a bad idea. That could happen. The other thing is, if it doesn't come back for a retest but goes up first, all right, then just be mindful. They might be looking to sell from the highs to push down, okay? Once again, keep an eye out for your swing days. I've already put them in the members area, okay? The indices should also be coming down, all right? So as you can see, okay. And remember, when I drew this line, this is the Saturn and Mercury line there together. Was it this one? No, this is not for this one. This is just a regular trend line. When I drew this regular trend line from bottom to bottom, okay, I said this was going to break. Okay, so, and it did break nicely, and it was supposed to break. So now we're at a place where the market can do a retracement and then sell off again. Okay, and if it retraces from here, then what you should do, okay, I'm just going to assume that this is a low, or this will hold. What you need to do then is put a framework for yourself, and that framework is going to be here and there. Okay, and the market should either come to the mid levels of these or the higher ends before selling off. Okay, I don't see it going to the higher ends economically, so we should retrace up into the mid zone here and then sell back off again. All right, so that's that. What can you do with this? You can buy the lows. All right, you can buy the lows to go up, and your weekly pivot can definitely be a target, and you could go up there as well. So on the PST, you could go up to that 36 and 46. That's 4397, 4440. So 4440 to 4397. So 4440 is up here. Okay. 4397 is right there, which is right with your weekly in there. Okay. And that's that. So this zone is not bad. It's a target and it's a sell-off place. Okay, this zone. Euro dollar. Nicely coming in here. This should also break. Okay, where to sell this off? We're in a new week. Going up to 54 is not a bad idea, which is 1.0978. Okay, so that is, let me just get rid of this. Okay, so what I want to do is sell off on the blue. 54 is a price of 1.0978, and that's 71, so not bad, they're pretty close. 78, 1.0978. 0978, that is far out. Let me just check that again. Could that be right? 54, 1.0978. Wow. 1.0978. It's a bit far out, but we'll keep it in mind. Okay, that's that. And then that's on the weekly, right? That's on the weekly, that's why. Okay, and this is the first resistance, which is the 50. And that's 50 there, 1.0903. That's the first resistance of the week. 1.0903 is there. Okay, this is also not a bad spot. As you can see, this is where the market crashed down before. And the weekly pivot, obviously, okay, you can see they sold off here and this broke the low here, so going back up to retest this zone to sell off is not a bad idea again. On the daily, 27 is a good support to get in long, which is 1.0840. So let's do 1.0840 down here. This wouldn't be a bad place to get in if the market comes back down. Okay, then from here you can go up. Actually, going back up is not a bad idea from here. As you can see, this is a zone, remember, we marked in before, this zone there, and the market is like loyal to this, and this is the Venus line. So going long with the euro dollar this week up a little bit, not a bad idea, and that could, like I said, can take us up to that 1.0980 zone. Okay, and on the monthly as well, we've got that support at 49, which is 1.0857, which the market already did. Okay, 1.0857, as you can see, is here. All right, so it's done. So it's done the monthly support actually. So if it comes back down to go up into the opening, the daily down here at an Astro hour to go up, it's not a bad idea. Then you can target these, and because we've got breakout aspects here, if the market is going down and then you buy, it comes up here and it starts mucking around here, right? Okay, it starts mucking around here. Be careful, okay, because then you got like the opportunity to push up and go up into that level there. Okay, and then that is going to be 1.0880 there. All right, so let's take a look at Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and Bitcoin. All right, let's take a look at Dow Jones. Now with Dow Jones, remember we were coming to the lows, and I said at the lows be careful, because we made the targets. Okay, like let's go back to the daily and weekly and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, remember we made the weekly targets and everything, so I said be careful, and the PST broke down. That's a good sign the trend is still going to go down, but you don't want to be selling off here. You want to wait for a pullback to sell off, and because we're on a new week, the weekly PST is definitely going to be important for us. 55.92, 34.821. So I'm going to mark in 34.821. 34.821 is there. All right, so it's pretty close to this zone here. All right, so if we come up here, this is going to be a sell zone, and we can possibly come up there as well. So if you're going to sell high, as I always say, and do not just sell anywhere. So the weekly pivot and this level on the weekly is nice, okay, to be selling off. Also look out for your swing days. Now look, this is the blue zone I marked in before on the daily, and the market has like, you know, stood up to that. So they've stayed loyal to it, breached it a little bit, looks like they've taken stops out. This has got room to fall down. Remember, we were waiting for the sell-off. This is a trend line. This should break. Okay, this trend line needs to break. So if you take a look at the weekly, we've got room to come down into let's see, 33, 617. Okay, and down here we've got 48 as a price. Let's take a look. The closest target is going to be 33,988. Okay, 33,988 is up here. Okay, so this is our closest target. Let's say 33,990, round figure. Okay, and then once we go up, you don't want to be selling here at the lows. This is the support of the week. Okay, the market will want to retest this. If it comes down first, you can go up with it. Let me just refresh that. If it comes down, we can go up and then sell off. Okay, because the main trend is down, so you want to sell high and not low. Okay, if it keeps crashing down, I wouldn't stand in front of it as a buyer. You want to then look for a place, if it breaks below the low of last week, to retrace in the smaller time frame and then push down into that 33,990 and even further below. If it does that, I'd rather wait for a good up move and then sell off, because this is a daily zone where the market found support. So going back up to sell off is not a bad idea. Also, you should check the low of this bar, which is 34,747. So 34,747 is going to be 34,747 is going to be around here. Okay, so this is also a place where you're going to be checking. Why? Because there's gaps to fill here. All right, there's a gap, and the market can come up nice and easy, take out the stops, hit the PST, and start selling off. All right, I'm going to get rid of this. This was from last week. No need to keep that happening. If you take a look at the monthly as well, that 53 is 34,152. All right, 34,152 is down here. It hasn't done that yet. 34,152. All right, so there's still a bit of chance that the market can push down. This is the monthly, so keep it on your records. Okay, so selling the highs is the way to go. Okay, there should at least be some reaction there, and because the market pushed down a lot, we can have an A, B, C. Okay, then that push up will be the A, and it'll come into a B, and then an up move, and then sell off. Or we're going to muck around here, side up a little bit, and then push down. So every time it goes up, you want to be selling downwards at the opportunities. Same thing with NASDAQ. Okay, now if you're following NASDAQ as well, remember this was a zone. We said this will be a target for us. They've done it, swept out all the stops as well, and that's fine. On the weekly, they stood all the targets, so we're down here. On the monthly, as you can see, we broke the PST. That's really, really good, because this is like a big candle down. Okay, so any push up, you want to be selling to push down into those targets in September. And in September, we might have some really good lows. So selling is the way to go, because astrologically September, looks like it's going to have some good opportunities for us. Okay, and any retracement up, you want to be selling off. Also until the low of that bar there, you can see that's 14,967. So 14,967. Let's bring this down a little bit. 14,967 is around there, so that's logical as well. Okay, so coming up into that zone, sell zone, your weekly pivot is going to be a resistance there. Let me just refresh this. This zone here, you see there's a gap there, and there's one there, and there's one there. Okay, so the market pushing up in order to sell off is good. This is why astro timing is really, really helpful, because I don't want to be just selling off any target. I want to be selling off at a place where it matches my technical analysis. Also, if you think about it, what happens here is, if there's a breakout or a sudden harsh move, which is what I'm expecting in the New York session, then what's going to happen is the market will probably break out. So this is why I said, if the market, if you're following it right, and then the market, let's say, came to the weekly and they're not selling off, or you're not seeing a sell move going downwards, what might happen is the market can sell off a little bit and then go back up, okay, break that level and go into a higher spot. Okay, so let's get back in there, and that's Nasdaq for you. So this is a good bounce off. If you want to buy to go up, what you have to do is first let it come down and then go up. And let's see where that could be on the weekly, on the monthly, maybe on the monthly. They've already done it on the LCL one here. That's HCL1 44,402. So that's probably done there, and the breakdown is here. So we'll probably have a retracement up before we go down, but that 55 is also a target, so be mindful. That 55 level, let's take a look on the monthly. Okay, the first target of the breakout, 55.16, is a price of, let me just do this, let me just get rid of this Fibonacci stuff here, it's just becoming annoying. 14,201. All right, so 14,201. Well, that's way down. Okay, so that's way down, so I'm not going to put that into the cards. If it comes down low, for example, into here, or down to the low of last week before going up, okay, then you can buy. If it goes up first, then we're going to be looking for sales, okay, at the upper end of the stuff. And on the daily, let's see if you've got a resistance there. That's going to be your first spot, 32. So you've got to be careful at 14,744, 14,744, which the market looks like is pretty much done. 14.7. Okay, that's the beauty of the PST. See how the market already did that right there. Okay, so we're probably going to break out above that. If so, this will be a target, which is 45, and that's 15,017, and 15,017 is even above that, so that's fine. I'll put that in there, 15,017 there. And then on the weekly, let's just check it out again. This is far out, HCL1 there. That's going to be far out, so maybe 66, and that's 15,662. 15,662 is too far out. Okay, that's fine. So we've got here, we've got three targets. One is the weekly, and then this zone here, and then here. This one looks nice because it'll sweep out the stops here and then push down, probably fill in this zone here as well. So this 14,967 is looking good. All right, and that's that. If you take a look at Bitcoin now, with Bitcoin, as you know, I told you we'd come down here. I said we would definitely breach this 50 level because that's a premium zone. The market just crashed nicely into here. I'm expecting more to the downside. If you look at it astrologically, this should also come down with the others, and then we'll see how things pan out. This is the channel top, so we should flow into this zone. It made the demand zone, good reaction, but still it's got a bit of room to come up before the sell-off, and those are going to be your levels where you're going to be looking to. Let's see, you can go to, oops, not this one. So what you got to do is take a look out for that bar there. All right, 27,450 should be on your retracement cards. 27,450, and that is going to be just around there, 27,450. Now on the PST, if you take a look on the PST of the daily, let's go here. You got this HCL1, just note it down, 26,580, And then we've got this level up here, 43, which is 27,684. Okay, 27,684, which is pretty close. Okay, 27,684, which is pretty close to that 436, 450. 27,684. Okay, so just a tap more up. There you go. Okay, I'm just going to leave it here. Just make sure you note the levels. Okay, 26,684. So 26,690. Okay, in short, this is going to be a zone as well, a retracement. Not bad place to sell off on the weekly. Okay, on the weekly, the market made all the targets. So your HCL1 27,658. So that's also good. 27,660 is that there. And now I can get rid of this. This is great. Finish this off. And that's it. So that line is going to be important as well, going into there. And that's your 27,658. All right.